Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint a very simple, easy bookmark, and all you're going to need for this is a strip of watercolor paper and some watercolors. And I am using a variety of paints here. They're all from Schmincke. There's some Academy, there's some Horadam. Most of them are Horadam. And I'm using this little tiny number 4 round brush. It actually came in a gift, I guess you'd call it like a gift set by Hannah Mula, that has a pad of bookmark paper, a little tiny brush, and 3 Schmincke Horadam watercolor pans. And I'm not sure if the review for that will be up before this little demo, but anyway, I think it's such a cute little stocking stuffer type gift idea, and I really wanted to, use it on camera so you could kind of see it in case you were thinking about picking that up for someone this holiday season. And the little kit goes for about $25, although I paid much less when it first came out on Blick. But anyway, it's still a great deal because you get the paints in there. Anyway, I'm just using kind of the tip of the brush to sketch out little kind of abstract tree shapes, and then I'm just dripping in colors that go. So I used a little bit of turquoise, and then I dripped in some green gold, and then I dripped in some Prussian blue, and just basically watched the colors flow. This paper is really nice. It's 100% cotton. It has a nice amount of sizing to it. It is a vegan sized paper, so not sized with vegans, sized with plant-based glycerin, oh my word, as opposed to gelatin. And it performs really well. It performs like an Arches or any other heavily sized paper does, and that's my preference, to have a more heavily sized paper. But the only thing that somebody might not like about this paper would be there is a very, I don't know if I want to say distinct, but you can see this kind of linear texture or grain that it has to it. I thought I wasn't going to like that, but once I started painting on it, I didn't notice it at all. So this is just something to be aware of. I'm not sure what the line of paper, it's just their bookmark pad, but I liked it, especially for just quick little sketches like this. I think it's great. I think you can get the pad just by itself for like $10 if you want to, actually under 10 most places. But if you wanted to get that set, you could do that as well. Or, cut up scraps of watercolor paper. I know a lot of the time when I cut down paper, I end up with these like kind of bookmark sized scraps. So those definitely could be used like this. And what a fun thing to give as a gift with a new book or a gift certificate to a bookstore or something like that. I love gifts like that. I like to read on paper. That's my preference, is to read a hardcover book. A lot of times I end up checking stuff out of my library on my phone, like through the e-library. So I end up reading on my phone a lot, but I do enjoy reading on a paper book. My preference being a large print paper book, because then I can put sunglasses on and sit outside and read, and I don't have to have reading glasses or anything. But anyway, that's fun to do. It's also be really fun if you were doing a project like this with a group, like maybe just get together with some friends or family members, maybe your kids or your parents or grandparents, and painted some bookmarks together. You could easily split a sheet of paper into many bookmarks, or get a pad like this and share it around, share a couple palettes of watercolor, or even just little dabs of watercolor on a plate. It'd be a great way to just share the love of painting with people that love reading. As you know, watercolors, a little goes a long way, so it's kind of fun. This took 10 minutes to paint. I thought about time-lapsing it, but I'm like, it's only 10 minutes, right? See how it goes in real time. I think the real fun thing about this project in particular is that you don't need a lot of supplies, and you get to let the watercolor do all the work. So what I mean by that is, I'm taking a brush, using it kind of at a 90-degree angle with the paper so I can use it on the tip and get a lot of detail, or I can press it or angle the brush and get a wider stroke. And basically what I'm doing is I'm taking one color and just tap, 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 a basic tree shape, like do a vertical line, and then either make little stripes across, little, stripey horizontal lines, or just make little dabs, going from small to top to wide at the bottom, and then I'll just drop in another color. And if you've got a blue tree, you can drop in some magenta or pink or red. If you've got a green tree, you can drop in some yellow or blue. Just stick to your color friends, and you're going to end up with really nice, vibrant, lively trees. And it's a great way to learn your colors. And if your palettes are arranged in like kind of rainbow order, you just know to choose another color next to the color you just used. And this is a great teaching moment too. If you're teaching newcomers to watercolor, rinse your brush off between colors so you don't contaminate it. Pick out a color friend if you want the colors to be vibrant. If you want your colors to be neutralized, you can pick out a color that's really different. And it doesn't take a lot of time, so you don't feel like there's a huge risk in messing up. And it doesn't use a lot of paper or a lot of paint, so it doesn't feel like there's a huge risk to mess up. So projects like this are great for beginners. I love stuff like this. And I didn't have a reference photo. I was just kind of going from my imagination and, testing out supplies. And this is a great way to test out some watercolors. Think of all the little bookmarks you can make as you test out different paint combinations and different products that you have. And maybe you don't have watercolors, but you could take some watercolor markers, water-based markers, and scribble them on a white plate and use those for watercolors. Most people have some water-based markers around. Your kids probably have some water-based markers. You can get some watercolor paper and do this project with those. I was just kind of getting familiar with my Schmincke paints again because they've never been a favorite of mine. The cute little tin on the right, I have wanted one of those Whiskey Painter palettes for so long, and an empty one was from Whiskey Painters was about the same price as one with the Schmincke watercolors in it, so I bought the Schmincke version, and it came with 8 colors, and it was like $85, and I put 4 of my own colors in that were from Schmincke, and created that little palette, and I'm like, great chance to use it. I'm mixing kind of a grayish color basically I'll use like an orange and a blue, or I'll basically just take different colors I've used so far and just mix them. Like your red and your green, like your magenta and your green will make a nice gray. I just keep mixing colors I've already used. You can just go from what you've already used. Look for your opposites and see how you get a nice gray. And what I'm doing here is basically negative painting around where I imagine snow would be, and I'm putting in some mountains in the background. I'm just winging it, guys. I'm just making it up as I go along. And I think when you have something like a bookmark or a postcard or a tag, something small that's inconsequential, you can be really free to just play. Because you're not using up a lot of materials. You're using scraps. You're using little dips and drabs of paint. And in fact, I think when I started to paint this, I was cleaning off a palette because some of my paint had stuck to the lid of these travel palettes. And I was like, well, I might as well use that up. I don't want to throw it away or just wash it away. So that's what I did. Try to find ways that you can make your art freeing. I think there's something very freeing about, well, I don't have anything to lose, right? This paint is going to go to waste because it's stuck to the lid of my palette. Or I'm just trying this out. It's brand new, but I want to see how it goes. Or it's just a small piece of paper. Or just think of a way that you can take that pressure off of yourself to create. Maybe just tell yourself, I'm just going to see how these colors mix. I'm just going to see how this brush goes. And that way you're not putting this pressure on yourself to create some masterpiece. You're just like, oh, I'm going to see how this brush feels in my hand. I'm going to see what happens if I paint a blue tree and I add some pink into it. I'm going to see what happens if I paint a green tree and add some yellow into it. And, I painted the little trees far in the distance much smaller. See how I'm just kind of using little vertical strokes to symbolize those trees back there, and that will give me scale, and the trees in the front are taller and wider so they look closer to us, because you have such a small space here that creating depth and scale can be kind of tricky. But little things like that, you can practice on these small cards. These down at the base of the mountain, they're closer to the viewer, they're closer to the trees in front, so they're going to be a little bit bigger than those ones at the top of the mountain. And just play with concepts and play with ideas and play with colors and get the brush wet and get some practice in. That's how you're going to become a better painter. And even if you don't feel like you improved at all during this exercise, you have a bookmark to show for it. You had some fun. You got to relax. And I don't know about you, but I think one of the best ways to relax is just to play with color and just try to enjoy yourself and make something, right? That will stay done. It's not like the dishes that you wash. Your sink will be full tomorrow. This bookmark is going to be done a week from now, and it's going to stay done. And there you can kind of see the lininess in the paper I was telling you about. It's not very strong, but there's a finished card. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you give this a try. And until next time, happy crafting and happy holidays. Bye-bye.